Okay, what we're going to do today is explain to you about how to drill a hole in the thermostat that goes in the 4-cylinder K cars, the 2.2 and 2.5, the American-made 4-cylinders. Now I'm going to have June aim down here. This is what's called the water box. We have traffic going by, so I have to wait a moment for it to die down. This is what's called the water box, and this is also where the thermostat mounts, right behind this housing here. And normally in the shop manual, this bolt here is supposed to be loosened to let air bubbles out of the system after you've taken anything off and put it back on again, or refilled it with antifreeze, this bolt right here. The problem is no mechanics know how to do this or that it needs to be done. So what they do is they just put a thermostat in, fill it up, and run it for a while, and they think everything's fine. But even if they put the heater on, the problem is an air pocket tends to form in this water box, and then the thermostat doesn't open and close properly, and the cars can overheat and do all kinds of weird things that drives people crazy. So we're going to explain how to fix that very simply and very easy. When you put a new thermostat in, here's the thermostat. And by the way, I suggest that if you live in the Sun Belt, anywhere where it gets warm a lot of the year, that you replace the original 100, well, let's see, this one was rated at 196 degrees. You can actually see the rating thing on the pellet. That you get a 180 degree thermostat because it's cooler, and that you replace it, put a 180 degree in. What we're basically going to do is, these are the two brackets that hold the pellet in place, and we're going to, if you think of those at being at the 9 o'clock and the 3 o'clock position, we're going to drill a hole at the 12 o'clock position. And it's very simple. You get your basic portable electric drill, back up a little bit, June, so you can get a long shot. And I'll turn this way so you can sit, and you're going to drill a hole right here. Now starting the hole is a little tricky, but once you get it started, whoops, you break off the drill bit like I just did, but I have other drill bits, so hold on. Okay, so we're back with a new drill bit, slightly smaller. And by the way, this hole does not need to be very big, only about the size of a toothpick. And here we go. Hopefully we're going to finish without breaking this one. There we go.
Beautiful.
And you see, we've now drilled a hole in this thermostat. You can see it from the other side. And what this hole is going to do is it's going to allow any air that accumulates in the system behind here to bleed through, and after the air bleeds through, it will pull coolant through, and the coolant will heat up this pellet so that it will open and close consistently and smoothly like it's supposed to. So once you've drilled the hole, and there's little burrs here that would probably be a good idea to clean off. Just a little basic sort of make sure the hole is even and smooth around the edges. June's afraid she's going to get metal shrapnel in her eyes, but she's not. It's not going fast enough. You can turn around now, June. And once you've done this, then what you're going to want to do is place this thermostat with the hole at the 12 o'clock position. Here, it goes in here in the water box, and that will allow the air to bleed through. Now, once you've done this and you're refilling the system, you want to make sure that you not only open the heater temperature slider all the way over to hot, but you want to actually turn the heater on, because the hot water valve is vacuum operated by the heater control, and if you don't actually turn the heater on, it won't open up, and then any air that might have gotten into the heater coil or the heater core will stay in there, and you don't want that to happen. What you want to have happen is for the whole system to be operating. Take the cap off, fill it with coolant, start the engine, run the heater, and within about 5 or 10 minutes, any air pockets that are in the system will work their way through over to the radiator cap, and the coolant level will go down as the air comes out. And once you've done that and let the gauge go up at least to the middle of the operating temperature range on the gauge, and feel the radiator, the upper radiator hose here will get somewhat warm because of the little bit of coolant coming through the hole. Once it gets really hot and you know the system's evened out, then you can top it off, close the radiator, and you should be good to go without any problem. But this little hole here can save you a blown head gasket or other kinds of cooling system complications down the road. Anytime you open up this system, change something, and then put coolant back in it. The one other thing is this right down here is the temperature gauge sending unit that operates the gauge. However, the switch that turns the radiator fan on is right here, and you notice it's at the bottom of the water box, which is why if the water box doesn't get up to proper operating temperature, the radiator fan won't come on to cool the radiator. And this actually switches through the engine operating computer, which has the relay to turn the fan on. If your car has air conditioning and you use it, the fan also comes on whenever the air conditioning compressor is on, which is why, ironically, if you run the air conditioner, the engine will run cooler and more consistently than if you're not running the air conditioner. So those are some tips on the cooling system, and you can certainly contact me if you have any questions. My name is Ed Garin, and you can reach me at edgarren, EDGARREN, at earthlink.net. And if you have any other questions or concerns, remember, this is for the 2.2 and 2.5 liter Chrysler K cars and the K car relatives like the Plymouth Acclaim, Dodge Spirit, etc. With the 4-cylinder engine. This magic little hole in the thermostat makes all the difference in the world. And by the way, you should replace these about every 5 or 10 years because they sometimes stick closed, and when they do, that makes a real nightmare. Or if they stick open, your engine's going to run too cool. It's going to affect your gas mileage because it'll run rich. It'll think like it's still cold, so it adds extra fuel. And also, it doesn't burn off the impurities out of the oil. So it's very important for your engine to operate at about 180 degrees or a little higher if you're in a very cold climate. Thank you very much.
And thank you.